Dave Van Auken here. Gamebred Boxing for April 1st live on pay-per-view. I'm with one of the fighters, 16-0. That's a good record right there, my man, Luis Feliciano. How you doing, my man?
Everything is good. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, man. We're like a week out, that 8 days, 10 days out. First of all, how you feeling mentally and physically right now?
Oh, I feel great. I mean, physically, mentally, spiritually, in pretty much every single element, I feel great. Even just having the opportunity to fight back home, I mean, that's just kind of very motivating itself. So I'm very pumped. I'm very excited, and this is a huge opportunity for me. So I'm feeling great.
I love that. Talk to me about that. Tell me how, when you got the call, or tell me, did you see the card before with Pettis and Roy Jones Jr., of course, on top? You're like, damn, I got to get on this. They're in Milwaukee. They're going to be my home, all this. Tell me about the call of you getting on this fight card.
Yeah, so how it transpired. So we already had commitments with PBC. We were already gonna fight on a PBC card that was gonna be slated for late February or early March.
Okay.
And then Anthony also he reached out to us, and obviously of us, me and another fighter, Luis Arias, who were both from Milwaukee. We both trained together here in Vegas, and he obviously reached out to us in regards to getting on the card and fighting back home. It was going to be big, and we both had commitments with PBC already. We had obligations, so it was like we won't be able to do it. Unfortunately, my fight with PBC, the opponent pulled out the fight. So then that opened up the door. So that was like within the next day, I hit up Anthony ASAP. I was like, yo, see what we can do. I got to try to get in this card. And then within a matter of a week, everything was kind of negotiated, with me and my management team and Dean Toole, the one of the promoters. And and everything worked out great. And now we're just a week away. We're gonna be on the card.
Crazy. It is. It's a good card, man. It is stacked. I'm gonna get into the card in a second. One more thing, kind of on you. You mentioned Las Vegas and Milwaukee. How did that? How did that road? I know that you're training in Vegas. Did you follow a trainer, or did you think you had to kind of level up your skills if you want to get to that next level, 20-0, 23-0? You had to go out there. Was that kind of the game plan behind that?
Yes, yeah. So my story. So I actually started. So I went from Milwaukee straight to LA. So then I was in LA for 5 years. I was training under Ben Lira, and I was also in Big Bear, California, with under Abel Sanchez and Triple G's camp. Because my former coach, he was the main assistant to Abel Sanchez. So we got a lot of experience through that. I mean, I was my very first training camp. We had Chocolatito and Triple G. So I mean, we're talking about two legends in the boxing game. And then all throughout the camps, other like David Benavidez, Murad Gassiev, Andy Ruiz, other big names. So we got a chance to train aside them. So in regards to kind of similar, yes, we would move to, you kind of have to get away from your comfort zone. And they always say, if you're the best one in the gym, it's time to go. It's time to go, because it's going to be hard to progress. It's going to be hard to learn, to get better. And you obviously have to step up in competition, and that's how you improve. And that was the same case here in Vegas. So I just moved here last year in May, and I've been here. It's about to be a year now. So I'm under Salas Boxing Academy, Ismael Salas, and again, kind of similar situation. You got gonna be future world champs, world champions in there, and it's a great environment to learn, and that's what the game is all about. It's like every day you want to get better, you want to progress, and I think that's gonna take you a long way in your career.
Absolutely, my man. That's a crazy story. That's a great story. Like I said, 16-0, still undefeated. Your opponent, though, Clarence Booth, 35 years old, the older. I think he's got almost 30 pro fights. When you going into this fight, when that matchup was announced and you kind of saw it, I would assume coaches are watching tape and everything of that nature. Does that kind of spice you up? Or like, okay, cool. They put me against a good veteran, someone that's been in there a lot, someone who's got hands. You feel good about this matchup?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think this is a great fight for me, especially at this point in my career. Because we're looking to eventually get into, especially this year and then into next year, creeping up those top 15, top 10 rankings in my weight class at 140. So this is a good fight. I mean, you talk about a experienced veteran who's been in there with a lot of top prospects and even former world champions. So I think that's that's a very good matchup for me. I know that he's he's going to be a tough guy. He's strong opponent. And also I think like you said, it's going to spice things up because it's a good matchup and it's back home. So I think we're going to put on a great fight, and I think the people back home are going to love that.
One thing I love about this card, I'm about to get into some of those bigger names, the main event, co-main, and stuff of that nature, is there's a lot of young talent like yourself. There's another fighter, Devin Cushion, on the card. To me, you guys have 8, 12, 14 years of high-level boxing, huge main events. I'm talking about Las Vegas, big-time main events, $1 million main events in front of you. And it's great that some of these veterans and some of these legends in the sports of combat sports, and then Roy Jones Jr. in boxing, to me, like, they're bringing the eyes, right? They're bringing their name, they're bringing their legend to the card, and then hopefully they get attached to you, Luis. They get attached to Devin Cushion. To me, I think it's Jorge Masvidal and Dean Toole did master work on this card. So let me get into it. When you saw the card be announced, and I got some ties with Dean Toole and Jorge, so they were telling me, like, they're putting this together. I'm like, this is crazy. Like, guys, in 2023, this card is absolutely bananas. When you saw this whole card, what did you first think when you saw this as a whole boxing event?
I thought it was amazing. At first I actually thought it was like, oh, is it going to be like MMA? But then I saw Roy Jones Jr. I'm like, wait, there's no way he's going to do MMA. Yeah. And then when I saw that, it's actually a boxing card, and that Masvidal has a boxing promotional company, I thought it was great, and then you're bringing these big names into the sport. I mean, I think it's a good thing. I think it's definitely going to attract more eyes, and it's going to make the sport of boxing even better, and, you got to be honest. I mean, UFC right now is kicking our butts in regards to the sport of boxing. That's just the reality. I mean, you compare numbers, and boxing has kind of died down a little bit. So, those are just facts. But I think that, kind of bringing these names, these big UFC names onto the sport of boxing, I think it's going to be a good thing for us. So, yeah, of course, I was very excited. And I think it'll be better for my brand and hopefully get some eyeballs. I could give me a big platform and display my skills. And I think that hopefully that'll reach out to new fans, and people know about me, about Luis Feliciano.
For sure. I love that answer. And then you said something there I definitely want to come back to. If you said UFC's kicking boxing's butt. And I don't think you're wrong at all. They got mega shows. They put on a show almost every weekend. It's on ESPN Plus, and they have pay-per-views all the time now, it seems, and their numbers are incredible. What does boxing need to do? If you're in charge, or if you can give one message to the fans or one message to other boxers, what does boxing need to do to reclaim what was theirs? There was nothing like a Saturday night 15 years ago, especially Las Vegas or Madison Square Garden or California. Nothing like it in the world. What does boxing need to do to reclaim it?
Well, I think there's a couple things that come into play. I mean, I think one is that there's a lot of politics in boxing. So you have to deal with a lot of promotional companies, and they're obviously going to protect their own. They want they want to keep the benefits, everybody wants to be the A side. And then that kind of ties into my next point, which is the best fighting the best. So you rarely see that in the sport of boxing because of this politics that goes on in boxing. With you have one fighter who represents one company, and then you got another fighter that represents the other company, and then you got the TV networks as well, and that's also a political game as well. Whether it's the Zone, ESPN, Showtime, PBC. So you get I could get into it, but yeah, I think that's pretty much the main reason. And obviously, you don't deal with that in UFC. UFC, Dana White kind of runs the show, and he tells hey, you're gonna fight this guy. The number one fight is gonna fight the number two, and that's what it is. And if you don't, then kick rocks. So that's pretty much it. So I think that boxing definitely has to figure it out, and I think that we definitely could get back into how it used to be. But it'll have to start with that, and of course, I think big names like kind of what Masvidal is doing with this show. Get some big UFC names, and then put it into the sport and see what happens. You're gonna attract more eyes, and
Yeah,
everybody loves to see a good fight.
for sure.
Even Masvidal, I think I saw one of his videos and him talking about the video. He said that, we're gonna give the violence that everybody loves to see.
Yeah.
So so that's, yeah. So I think that's never gonna change. So I think that's it's gonna be great.
I agree with you, my man. Like if you're, we're outside, right? We're even shooting hoops at the park or we're throwing football. I love all other sports, right? But if you yell at someone, say like, "Oh, basketball game," like people are going to spin their head. But if you're just sitting outside, you're hanging with your boys and you just yell "fight,"
Fight.
everyone turns, everyone runs to wherever you're talking about. There ain't
Yeah.
nothing like it in the world. It's amazing. Um,
Yeah.
Before this, were you a MMA guy or were you a UFC fan before kind of this card came to be?
I mean, not much.
Okay,
I was familiar with the fighters,
right.
particularly the bigger names and stuff like that. But I wasn't much of a, into the UFC. For now, I think I would say I'm
Getting into
definitely better in that aspect, yeah, than I was, in the beginning of my career. At the end of the day, we're all fighters, combat
right.
fighters, So it's like, you have that respect, and that mutual respect, and yeah, no, I think that they're doing great right now, and it's good to see. It's good to see. At the end of the day, we're all fighters, and we all have that common bond that we step in there, and we do what we got to do.
For sure, my man. Other than your fight, and then let's just take away the main event. I know you're a Pettis guy, so Pettis and Roy Jones Jr. is off. What other fight on the card you're gonna kind of sneak around? You can't miss. You gotta watch the replay. PG Pearl Gonzalez is on the card. That Jose Aldo, Jeremy Stevens. Like I said, there's a couple other young, really hungry fighters on this card. Is there another fight on this card? Like, I gotta see this. This is gonna be must see.
I mean, obviously, first of all, I can't wait to meet all those guys. I'm probably
Yeah,
gonna be
yeah.
taking some pictures, and then, I definitely want to see Jose Aldo. I know that he's been in a couple fights already as far as boxing,
Right.
and then I think the Belfort soccer fight is gonna be pretty good too. So
It
I'm
is.
looking forward to that one. I think all the obviously all the cards or all the fights on the card are gonna be great. I think it's gonna be a great show, and I'm just blessed to be a part of it.
For sure, for sure. It's going to be an unbelievable night. That's April 1st, live on pay-per-view. You can go under the UFC Fight Pass banner. Make sure you get the pay-per-view. Couple last things for you, my man. We'll have a fun little thing at the end. Real quick, I think a really great question. Saturday night, Plant or Benavidez? Who do you got?
Oof, that's gonna be a great fight.
Great
Those
fight.
guys hate each other. Those guys hate each
Okay.
other. I'm gonna have to lean. I'm gonna have to lean towards Benavidez. I think that he is the naturally bigger guy. I think he's a more aggressive fighter. I think probably the first half of the fight, you could kind of see it. Caleb Plant kind of moving around, but I think Benavidez will eventually start to get to him. I think it'll be a decision. I don't think it'll be a
Okay.
knockout, like how
Okay.
both are claiming that they're both gonna knock each
Yeah.
other out.
Yeah.
I mean, you could see that, but I don't think so. I think it'll go the distance. I think it'll be a good fun fight, and it's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be a close fight. But I think I'm giving Benavidez the nod.
Okay. And one thing you said at the very beginning there is you said they both hate each other. Have you, two-part question, have you ever fought kind of with hatred going into it? And everything I hear, right, from MMA fighters or boxer fighters, sometimes that wears you down. That extra stress, that extra animosity is almost too much. You don't really get your breath into the fourth or fifth or sixth round. Have you ever done that? And is that true? Have you fought like that before?
Well, listen, in my 16 fights, I have not dealt with that. I haven't
Okay.
gone in there with rage. I haven't had an opponent where, something happened prior to the
Right.
fight where it
Right.
just made me, or anything that he said that made me just, like, okay, I hate this guy, or I want to
Right.
just absolutely crush him. So I haven't gone through that. But yeah, I agree as far as, yes, I think it can be something negative, you go in there and, it could throw you off. You can concentrate it more. It could distract you from your game plan, and
Yeah.
and your strategy going into the fight. So they always tell you, like, even if something happens in the fight, whether it's a knockdown or somebody takes away, or the ref takes away a point or whatever, you can't let those frustrations get to you. You have to stay poised. You have to stay calm. mean, that's what, the true veteran fighters do, when it comes to the big fights. So I think that both fighters are pretty experienced, and I don't think that we'll see this, even though they do. There's a lot of tension there. I don't think that they're gonna in there try to kill each other, whatever. I think that they're both gonna follow their game plans, and that's why I think we're gonna see a great fight.
Cannot wait that Saturday, but even bigger, Gamebred Boxing 4 April 1st, next Saturday night. All right, 5 fun questions for you, my man. We call it going bananas. First thing that comes to your head, you ready?
Okay.
What's your all-time favorite movie?
I would say Rocky 4.
That's the correct answer.
Yeah.
That's literally the correct answer. What was your first job?
My first job, I was a counselor for because I was Marquette University graduate, and I was actually a counselor for the Upper Bound program. That was a high school program for Marquette. So that was actually my very first job, and that was I was actually I believe a freshman in college.
Nice. Marquette. I saw that on your IG, man. Graduated Marquette. That's nice to have that in the back pocket for sure. Congrats on that.
Thank you.
What's your favorite what's your favorite sports team?
It's just I'm a huge I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, so I'm a huge like sports fan as far as like my local teams.
Giannis.
I'm Bucks,
You're a Giannis
Bucks,
guy?
yeah, Bucks, Packers, and Brewers. So obviously, Bucks, they're kind of the ones that are doing it right now. So let's just say Bucks. They're looking good, and hopefully we get another championship this year.
For one, I think they're going to get the thing. If Chris Middleton can stay healthy, the Bucks are going to win the championship. You heard it here first. And two, if schedules work out, I hear they're trying to get Giannis to the fight. I hear Giannis, they're trying to get him there in Milwaukee. You guys will be in the same locker room,
Man, hey, we need to make that happen. We need to make that happen.
They're working on it. They're working on it. What's your favorite app on your phone?
My favorite app on the phone is Twitter. I love Twitter.
Okay. Last question for you. If you can go out to dinner with any 2 people, dead or alive, who would you go to dinner with?
Oof. I would say my idol growing up, Felix Tito Trinidad. I've already had the chance to meet him. This was back in Puerto Rico. I was about 16, but yeah, it's something that as somebody that I would. I mean, I grew up idolizing him. He's probably one of the reasons why I actually started boxing. So Trinidad, he's an icon in Puerto Rico. I mean, he brought so much glory to Puerto Rico and to all Puerto Rican fans. That's in the island and on the home in the mainland of the U.S. So so I think I would love to have dinner with him.
Okay, there you go. My man, great time talking to you. I can't wait. I'm going to be in Milwaukee myself. I cannot miss this event. Any last things you want to shout out? Any sponsors or fans, anything like that? Take it away, my guy.
Yeah, no, just shout out to all my people in Milwaukee. I'm very excited, to be on this card. I think it's truly a blessing, and I'm just looking forward to putting on a great performance. And I'll see you guys soon. Thank you guys for the support, and thank you, David, for having me on. Absolutely, my man. 16-0 live on pay-per-view Saturday, April 1st. Don't miss it. All right, guys, we'll check you out later.